Hello everyone, and so welcome to another episode of Late Night Talks with Alara. Today I'm hosting my very close friend John. Do you want to introduce
Hello.
yourself?
Sure. Hey, I'm John. I'm a close friend of Alara. We don't come from the same cities, but we are both from Turkey. And we met during our first year in college and instantly became really close friends. And we're still going strong, don't we?
Yes. So today we wanted to talk about academic pressure in general, especially like all of us are approaching the final season now. It might be quite stressing. So I want to first start with what do you think about final season? Like how pressuring the exams are for you as a third year, and how was it in the first 2 years? Because we experienced quite a lot, like quite a lot of stress in our first 2 years, I think. So.
Yeah, both Alara and I suffer from the same thing called being a natural science student, and we always have a lot to do. Like we have labs, we have reports, we have a lot of classes, we have, I don't know, at least we have field trips, you don't have field trips, but like we always have stuff to do, and naturally this creates another level of academic pressure that other students can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's very correct. You like if you see me in the first 2 years, you would be probably like seeing me complaining about all the stuff I have to do. Whereas this semester, it's quite different for me. Even if I'm a natural science student, I think like I got super burned out from the first 2 years. That like I am not doing that much, like as much as I would in the first 2 years, which is quite interesting. John, on the other hand, he's doing a lot of stuff. But let's talk about like burnout and how did you pass the burnout situation in general?
Oh, honey, I eat burnouts for breakfast every morning. Like at this point, I think I just, I'm not COVID. At this point, I think I just got used to it, and like I experience burnouts quite frequently, and I don't know, I just like suck it up and keep living because there's nothing else you can do. Like you can try taking a break, but these days I can't even afford taking a break, right? So it's quite difficult. And like in the past 2 months, my go-to strategy was to get out of the town for I don't know how long. But since the finals are so close, I can't do it anymore. And like as I said, I just suck it up and continue whatever I'm doing. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not agreeing with this because I think it's really important, like for us to protect our mental health, especially during these days, the burnout. Like I had days that I wouldn't do anything, and it's absolutely normal if you feel like that and you're not doing anything. I know that exams like it's quite stressing, and we like usually don't have that much time to study and do our stuff. But I think like if your mental health is not there and you need to take a day off, for me I find it quite useful. Then I can continue better in the next day, and I'm more motivated, and I feel even guilty to work more and more. So for me that's a quite good approach. But I think like it depends on the person as well.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more because for me, if I take a break, I just want to take more breaks. And like these days, I can't afford doing that. I can't even afford taking a single day off because I have a lot of work that has been there since the beginning of the semester, but I was not working fast enough, and right now I have like 4 final exams, 1 paper, 2 presentations, and grad school applications all at the same time. Why do I have this? Because I still have to make up for some of the credits that I did not take in my first and second years. So it's quite a unique situation. I also see some of my classmates just chilling, having the time of their lives because they are only taking 1 class this semester. 1 single class. They only have 1 exam to study for.
Okay, don't get jealous.
I am jealous. How can I not get
Okay,
jealous?
sure. So you're talking about the grad school applications. So
Yeah.
to be honest, for me, I still am not fully aware that what I want to do in the future, which is a problematic situation because I feel like everybody is knowing what they're doing and what they want and where they like want to end up, you know, too. And it's quite problematic because like I feel the pressure of I need to apply to grad school, I need to apply to this and that without knowing what I want to do in the future. And I really feel the pressure from other people because they seem to know every thing in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we talked about this before. How do you feel about this, and in generally, like how does it make you feel, and do you even feel pressured about this in general?
Yeah, at first I was feeling pressure, definitely, because seeing everyone like being so certain about stuff, unlike you, is a big cause of stress. Because like you feel different, you feel like you need to catch up, even though everyone's a different person and everyone has their own pace to do stuff, and not everyone is trying to achieve the same things in life. For example, some of us don't want to go to grad school, they just want to start working right after the university. There's no point for them to like see me stressing about in grad school and stress themselves out for not doing that, because it's not their goal after all. But like later on I started to realize that what I just told you is the bigger fact, then I'm maybe missing out on stuff. And like I realized that working on my own pace is more important than whatever other people are doing or concentrating on, because it's my time and I control my time, I control myself in life, and like I have to set my priorities and work them one by one, go through one by one. Yeah, but yeah, like from a subjective point of view, it's definitely a factor of stress.
So do you have a plan?
I don't.
Like, do you have something on your mind? Because for me right now, like, I feel like everybody thinks that I know what I want in the future, which is not the case for me. So do you know what you, like, not only one specific thing, but like the directions that you might want to be going into, like, because you're like studying earth and environmental sciences, so you have quite an option, like a lot of options, to be honest. So
yeah, that's true. However, that does not necessarily mean that I want to do what I want in the future, because the more options you have, the more things to consider, and it's actually more difficult to decide on a certain thing. I think it's the same with you, because you're studying BCCB, and in BCCB there are a lot of like paths you can take for the future. You know, there's stuff like immunology, or I know some people applying for grad school, I know people doing genetic stuff, people doing microbiology, people doing chemistry.
You don't have to go into details, like, no, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, I am, like, my biggest dilemma for the specific field of studies that I want to concentrate in the future is whether I'd like to study something more related to geosciences or something more related to oceanography. If I want to concentrate on geosciences, I have like options like, I don't know, GIS, or and something that would make me analyze remote sensing data or things like that, or maybe geophysics. But geophysics is, in my opinion, a death field, because the age of petroleum is dying slowly, and like in geophysics you can also do other things, but the main source of income of geophysicists are petroleum industry. Or if I turn to the oceanography, I know I'm considering physical oceanography, but I can't say that I'm enjoying like that much physics. So that's my dilemma. I don't know what I want to do. I have a lot of options, as you said. But I cannot pick one easily. That's the thing. Yeah.
I think that's like for the case with a lot of people. I mean, the computer scientists, for instance, like most of them, they either like end up doing masters and working, or just working, which is a really nice thing. And for instance, I guess the industrial engineers, like they might be just finding an internship and they will continue their work there. I think for the life sciences in general, the case is more like you have to get involved into more stuff to be able to like get into work, which is like the hard part because there are a lot of options, as we all said. So what do you think about like having a gap year and trying different things? Because you mentioned a lot of fields, so maybe I feel like if you find, I guess, paid internships, then maybe you will be able to like do each like of those fields that you're talking about. Then maybe you can decide. Because for me, like I was thinking the same way. Like if I can find an internship place, why not to try different areas before I get involved to one and dedicating my whole life onto that specific thing.
Let's be honest. What are the odds of actually finding a paid internship? Because like we both did internships last year, and like we both worked our arses off to find an actual internship place.
True.
Let alone a paid internship. Finding a normal internship is incredibly difficult these days, especially for international students like us. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it's difficult to find a job or an internship these days.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But let's be hopeful. Let's be hopeful because I think even though the money is a fine like is an important aspect of everything, it's also important to like find out what we want because we will be working like I don't know more than 40 years on the same area, hopefully or not hopefully. I'm not even sure about that part. But I genuinely want to find something that I truly love because this summer, what I realized in my internship was like you are there from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. You have to like that job. Like otherwise it will be so painful because when you go back to home, it's just the only thing you do is eating and you don't even have that much to do like, you know, like preparing the food and eating. And you don't have that much energy to do anything else. Like even when I met with my friends, I was just tired from the work, so I have to find something that I like. Which brings me the fact of feeling of failure.
Feeling of failure.
Yeah, like so pretty much like whenever I can't be sure about something, or for instance, like if I'm not good at any like you know specific thing, which is usually the case because I do a lot of comparisons between myself and the other students, like other people in general. So I think I feel the feel of failure like a lot, like a lot. So what is the case for you? Like, because to be honest, like the people around me would always say like, oh, you're so successful and everything, and in me, like the people I'm comparing myself to is always higher than me, which is good because it also creates a space for improvement, but also it's super bad because I never feel like satisfied with anything I'm doing, and it's kind of like upsetting me in a way. So
yeah, to be extremely honest, I don't feel like a failure because not everything is about academics. Like even if you don't feel like you're at the top of your class, or I don't know, not doing as well as your classmates in finals and stuff, you can always think that I don't know, you're right here right now, which is something even unimaginable for most of your peers in Turkey, for example. You were a lot more successful than them, and right now you are a lot more successful than them. So success is not something subjective, and it's quite relative from person to person. It changes.
yeah.
You may not find yourself, for example, successful in one of your classes, but you should remember that there are thousands of people who would kill to be in your shoes.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I talk about like how I feel about my classes in general, like everybody would tell me like, Alara, are you kidding me? Like you are so good. You're I don't know teaching assistant in this lab and that lab, and you're also doing this research project, whatever. But for me, like I think maybe it's because I'm like a perfectionist. Like it doesn't seem the case, and then I'm like not satisfied as I mentioned, but it's always good to care less, I guess. like care less and do whatever you have to do and continue with the second thing and one thing at a time, so the stress is like less in a sense. But yeah, sometimes it's hard to maintain that. Like I think we all experience sometimes that like comparing ourselves to others, probably others that are better than us.
I mean,
And
who says that they're better than us?
It's a competitive environment, and it depends on like what are you comparing yourself like.
Yeah, maybe they're better in, I don't know, inorganic chemistry, but you are better in, you know, being an amazing, careful person.
Yeah, I mean.
But being an amazing, careful person doesn't
bring
give
you
you
money.
At least not in biochemistry and cell biology.
Exactly, and yeah, we kind of need money, don't we?
You have very pretty rocks, by the way. Sorry to interrupt the topic. Yeah. Just wanted to mention again.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
And anything you want to add in general?
In general?
Like, I don't know, like anything on this podcast, like academic pressure, failure.
Academic pressure is a fact, but like it's different for everyone, and everyone has their own coping mechanism, I think. Because of this, it's actually fun to talk about it with other people to see how they're doing.
Yeah.
That's why I would like to thank you for inviting me for this episode.
Oh, of course. I think what is important also, like I want to mention this, is that like I often find myself like finding others, like listening others, and they usually say that, oh, I don't do anything, I don't study, like, and then they get 100, and I'm like, bro, like don't do this. So first of all, I think it's also important that don't believe that everything you hear, because people just want to show that they're strong and capable without the hard work, which is not the case. And like there were a lot of times that I just felt so stupid because they wouldn't tell that they're working as well, but they will just be like, oh, I just checked the last day, and then end up getting the best grade, which can be the case as well, because some people are just smart and we're gifted differently. Like maybe they're smarter than you, but you're better at something. So stop comparing yourself. And also for the applications for graduate schools, like please, like don't compare. Like I think it does not help anyone. You are your own person. But what is the case that when your parents comparing you to someone else?
They usually don't.
I mean, yes, I think in my condition as well, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully.
But I think a lot of people might be experiences that they might be studying the subject they don't want. They might be also like experiencing the pressure of their parents. So what would you advise in that situation? Nothing.
I know, like, it's a difficult situation and something that I did not experience. Therefore,
Luckily.
Yeah, luckily, very luckily. Therefore, I think that I'm not the best person to comment on this topic. However, like, if I'm being extremely honest, I would just say, like, follow your heart, no matter who says.
Yeah, at
Follow
the end
your
of
heart.
the day, you're your own person. Like you're not your family's failure and expectations or anything. Because I think what often parents do is that reflecting their own wishes onto their children, and they expect the children to accomplish those stuff, which is really not acceptable in my opinion. And I don't want to talk big, but like in general, like I heard a lot, like from a lot of people, because when I'm working as a teaching assistant, like I would talk to people and they feel so much pressure just because their parents would be only satisfied if they get 100. And I often advise, like, look, like if you get 100, if you're happy, and if this is the like specific thing that makes you happy in your life, yeah, get it, work so hard. But you have like other stuff that you want to do and be happy, so maybe you can balance it out. And your parent, they can do whatever they make, whatever they make it happy, like, you know, in general.
It's your life, after all. It's no one else's life.
Yeah.
You are the main character of your own life, and you're the only thing that you can control. So
Yeah. So I think with that, we are pretty much done with the conversation.
probably.
Let us know if you have any questions. We can, I guess, respond in comments, or we can do another session. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching this podcast/video with Late Night Talks with Alara, and thank you, John, for coming today and helping me with the whole setup and everything. So thank you very much.
Thank you again, Alara, for inviting me. Don't you dare to forget subscribing to her channel and liking this video.
Yeah. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.